Okay. I know it's been a minute, but I've had a bunch of doctor's appointments and all that stuff, so I've been pretty tired and pretty busy. But what I wanted to say today was that sometimes in life, when we get mad at somebody, right? That hurt us, right, or does us wrong. We get mad at them, and if you think about it, if you stop and really think about it, like why you're mad at them, it's not that you're really mad at them. You're mad at you, or we're mad at us, because we knew that they were going to screw us over, and we chose to ignore our intuition, ignore our gut feeling, our inner being, right? And that's what we get so angry with. That's why we get so upset, because because if you think back and you look, like, you got to ask yourself, was there any signs that this person was going to do this, or the outcome of the situation was going to be X or whatever, and there's really going to be red flags, and you're going to know that in your gut. So always go with your gut feeling. If your gut tells you that something isn't right, it's not right, and where we get ourselves, where we talk ourselves into doing stuff that's against our intuition, is because we want so much for something to be different than what it is. We put an expectation on something, and we want the outcome, and we do everything that we can to make sure the outcome happens. And I'm not saying that like in a bad way. I mean, we shouldn't do that, obviously, but say you're trying to help somebody, right? And you keep doing whatever it is over and over, and you keep giving them chances, right? And then they still keep screwing you over. You're gonna get what you always got if you keep doing what you've always done. So you can't you're not talking yourself into receiving a different outcome. And what I mean by that is, like, let me think of a good way to say it. We sometimes feel like that maybe we overthink, because as human beings, we do overthink stuff sometimes, And so what we do, instead of actually truly analyzing the situation, a lot of times we will attempt to convince ourselves that our intuition is wrong, and that we just need to hang on a little bit longer, or to give another chance, right? And that is us just deceiving ourselves, okay? Now, granted, since you're always going to get what you've always got if you keep doing what you've always done, right? Because of that, yes, do try other things. You know what I mean? But you always gotta go on the rule. Like I don't know if you remember, but I teach you and your brothers this all the time. First time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. And there is no third time. So just keep that in mind if something ever happens. I just thought that was good information. And then, and not that today was bad, because actually I've had an incredibly good day. So, with that being said, today, what was so exciting was that I sat down with a gentleman at the VA, right? And so I was so excited because I told just told the highlights of my story today, to give the rundown so they know what was going on. Right, this took like 5 hours just for the highlights, not even the details. But I told this horrific story, right, in such a way that I was grateful, and there was all these learning lessons, and there was a lot of points that I was even laughing and and joking about stuff, and excuse me, and then all the parts that I grew from, and I was so excited because that was like the first time I ever told the story, and was able to say it in such a way that it was, it was heartfelt. It wasn't saying it in such a way as in like it was a strategic move or nothing. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that I was able to tell the story with all of the learning lessons in it and be smiling and feel really good about it. And it was a very inspirational story. And so, and whenever I was talking to the gentleman at the VA, right, so I could totally feel the energy and the shift, and like I could tell, that it was even it was inspiring to him, and that's not me putting validation or needing validation outside of myself. That's just simply, it feels good to know that I've grown, right? So I was super, super excited about that today, and I'm like, yay! Because that is a huge, huge step compared to where I've been in the last, like, I don't know, umpteen years. But my whole point of that is that this is life, okay? So in life, we, and I think I've said this before to you too, we have it all laid out before us, right? The good and the bad. And so really it's what we choose to look at. That's our choice. That's our free will choice. What do you choose to stare at? What do you choose to put your focus on? Because it can go either way. You can look at all the bad stuff, or you can look at the good stuff that come from it. And so, and that right there determines your, happiness. We're the only ones responsible for our happiness. And it doesn't matter what people say to you or do to you, because we can't control anything that anybody else does. But what we can control is how we react about it, how we respond to it or react to it. It's like I can have somebody come up to me and say, because I've had this happen before, you're you're a really shitty mother because you became a soldier, and you did this and you did that or whatever, and for being in the military, right? Because we get that a lot of times, especially whenever we come home. Now, I could choose to be mad at that, or I could be offended by it, right? But I never have been, because why would I be offended about the opinion of someone else? You know what I mean? Like, the things that people say only have the power that you give to it. They can say whatever. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it a lie. But I don't have to have feelings about it, you know what I mean? The only way that I'm going to be upset is if it has some kind of resonance to me, and it doesn't. So it doesn't bother me at all, so they don't have any power. Now, say somebody that I care about, say like a family member or a friend, they give me this opinion and they think bad of something I said or done or whatever, right? Does it bother me that they think that way of me without it's I don't get upset, or I wouldn't be well, that was upset because that it has power. I would be upset that uh, they obviously were not the type of person that I perceived them to be, because I like to choose my friends very carefully. And the fact that they did not give me the benefit of the doubt and formed an opinion without knowing the facts, then that would upset me. But it would only upset me to the point of where, because okay, now after I tried to talk to him and rectify the situation, if they continue to think this negative thought about me, right there tells me that they are obviously not my friend. You know what I mean? Because number one, you don't pass judgment. Number two, you need to get facts, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what another person's going through or been through, or whatever. I mean, you can walk into a room and have a conversation with somebody, and they could be gossiping, right? And they'd be like, so and so did whatever. And then you're like, oh well, that's really crappy. That person's a fucking piece of oh, sorry. That person's a bad person, right? You can't say that. That would make you wrong, because you don't know who they are. You don't even know what the situation is, and you don't even know if it's true. And even if it is true, it don't have nothing to do with you. So you don't have a right to have an opinion. So therefore, yeah, you just don't give people the power. If you find yourself in situations like that, just walk away from those people, because you can't change them, and everybody has a right to be where they're at, and everybody's at where they're supposed to be. Okay, so with that being said, that's part of the beautiful lessons in life. You know what I mean? That's part of life. The lessons that we learn, even from things that seem negative. You know what I mean? It may be a tough time, and then you look back on it later, and you're like, wow, I really grew from this, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here, and you know that kind of stuff. But it's late and I'm tired, so I just wanted to put that out and tell you I love you, because I hadn't seen you in a minute. Or seen you. I haven't made a video in a minute. And so Grandma Vicky's cancer has spread. So she went to St. Louis this Thursday. They are going to, within 2 weeks, have her back up there. They're gonna cut out the basal cancer and then reopen where they done the surgery on the melanoma, and then get that out, and then check her lymph nodes to see if she's got any there. But the new doctor that she has is amazing, and so she's taken really good care of her, and she's in way better hands than the cancer doctor that she had in Poplar Bluff. So yeah, it looks great. It's not nothing that she it's gonna pass away with anytime soon or anything like that. So I'm more than confident that she's gonna get that, and grandma's gonna be all right on that portion. Now grandma's got a bunch of stuff wrong, and of course now, if you get this message, this is the time really to get a hold of one of us. And I don't know what your dad has said, or if he said anything, or if this is going to be a shock, or I don't really know, or if you could be waiting for me to put something out like this to find you. I don't know. But either way, now would be the time to try and see grandma while she's in decent enough health, because she's still got hernia surgery that she's got to do afterwards, and then she's got this stomach problem, and she's got some throat ulcers and all that kind of stuff. I know it might be kind of crappy that I'm having to tell you on here like this, but it's better than you not knowing at all. Or somebody saying, well, they didn't attempt to get a hold of you and try and tell you what was going on or something like that. So this covers all areas. Now, with that being said, I talked to the hematologist, and it turns out that I have microcytic anemia with profoundly low iron, to the point that they are going to do an iron transfusion that's going to take about 4 hours. They're not going to do that yet, though, because they're checking. I got a poo in a cup. Yeah. No, that's going to work out. I'm looking forward to that one. But, so I'm apparently about 4 pints low of blood constantly. I'm in a constant hematolic crisis. So I don't really have a whole lot of blood. I mean, I feel like I've kind of gotten used to it. I feel like I'm doing a whole lot better, but I guess, they got to find out where this blood's going first. And then I also tested positive for thalassemia anemia. Excuse me, which is a Mediterranean anemia. But before they're like, before they say, I don't really know why they're doing it, but I can't remember. But so after, if like, so they're checking for colon cancer, so that's why I got to poo in the cup. So if I don't have any blood in my stool, then we don't have to move forward with that. Which is really kind of good, because nobody's looking forward to anything going in that direction. Could do without that. So you go out, you just can't go in. Then they're gonna go with the iron infusion, and I'll have to go to Prescott and stay the night in the hospital there and do all that, because they got to make sure that they have something that doesn't also react to my G6 deficiency and set it off. So because whenever they done the blood, they went ahead and done a G6, some kind of little test, and it wasn't active. I had high numbers of higher numbers of G6, so that wasn't what was causing the hematologic crisis. I hadn't ate anything that was gonna set that off, or took any medications. You know what I mean? So so we got to find out what's causing me to stay in the constant hemolytic crisis or whatever. And then give me the iron, and if the iron sticks, like, they're going to take all these tests after they do the iron. And if I keep the iron, then they're going to do another thalassemia test. And so if I keep the iron, then I'm good, right? So I guess, like, she's like, you will feel like a totally different person. So I guess I will have like all of this energy and all this kind of stuff, and just feel like super young. So that sounds really exciting. That's if I keep the iron. If I don't keep the iron, then and then the thalassemia is still there. I don't know. They want to double check, because apparently when your paperwork or people find out that I'm G6 deficient or have thalassemia, this obviously is a Mediterranean, African American, and Asian genetic DNA issue, when I obviously look pretty white. It's the anemia. Yeah, a lot of people, they just have like this big issue with it, and so they just want to do these tests over and over and over, like it's going to change, right? DNA doesn't lie, but whatever. So all of that's going down. Oh, and then I go tomorrow and have a liver ultrasound. So, and they're going to check for hernia and then internal bleeding and stuff like that. So, just, yeah, we're going to go from there. And when we talked about, correcting the subsidiary that worked with the VA that gave me the wrong medicine and stuff, and being able to correct that, because it's not the VA's fault at all. As a matter of fact, the VA system is excellent. It's a growing, living like entity or whatever. What I mean? We got to use it. We don't use it. We don't, give the feedback, then it doesn't grow, right? And so that level of care won't grow. But actually, the VA grows all the time, and they've done an excellent job. They've done a wonderful, wonderful job with me here. Poplar Bluff is not actually a real VA. It is hidden underneath the VA umbrella, and so it is definitely time to inform the VA of the subsidiaries that are hiding underneath their umbrella doing these things that are wrong, so the VA has a chance to acknowledge that, correct that, and then give back, because that'll give back trust into the VA and to the soldiers and airmen and sailors and all that. So I'm really excited about that. And then get my disability, all that stuff, and get everything corrected, and then I'll be like, hopefully it'll be good as new. Or not hopefully, but it'll be good as new, because if it doesn't work that way, then I'm going to I'm going to be all right. And let's just say that I'm not. And let's say, because we want to keep this real, that something happens, unfortunately, worst case scenario, before you get to see us, before we find you, right? Don't be upset. You've got these videos, and know that me and your family here, and your twin brothers that you haven't met yet, Caleb and Cameron, and of course Antonio and Grandma Vicky, love you so very much. And life is meant to be celebrated. It's not meant to be mourned. And if I catch anyone in my family or any one of my friends mourning whenever I pass, there's going to be a problem. As a matter of fact, I have a set rule already that I've had standing for quite some time now, many years, that there will be fly swats that are going to be passed out at my funeral. And of course, I want to be cremated, and either, if I'm, this would be so cool. If I, okay, so let's say that I meet Mr. Sexy Soul Dory, right? And of course, whenever he meets me, he's going to fall madly in love with me, because how could you not, right? So when that happens, it would be super cool. There's these 2 trees, right? And I mean, I don't know about him. Well, he's gonna like the idea anyway, because it is a super cool idea. You get cremated, right? Or you can even just be buried, so you don't have to be cremated, right? You can be cremated and turned into a life gem now, like a diamond or ruby or whatever. It's pretty neat, and then put into a piece of jewelry. Or you can be cremated and put, in the base of the tree, or you could just be buried underneath the tree. Be buried and then plant the tree on top of the grave, because and I can't remember the names of them. I'll have to look them up again. But there is there's 2 trees, right? It takes these 2 totally different kinds of trees. But if you plant them side by side, and I think that you got to tie like a branch, the branches together, like a branch of each one, and when they're babies, and they grow, and whenever they grow, they produce a truffle, right? And so that's the only kind of truffle in the world, and it's got to be produced. It's got to be produced with these two particular trees that are put together. And so I just think that's super cool, and I love cooking, right? And so truffles are pretty wild, and so it's a really cool thing. So anyway, so we're not really past. Maybe we're just all entangled in each other and making awesome truffles. You know what I mean? And then so I get like I want like a bench thing or whatever underneath it, and then like have names and stuff on there. And that's just whenever Michael Dory doesn't, he gets on scared and decides to meet me. But, I don't blame him. I'd be afraid too, because he's going to fall in love whenever he meets me anyway. And then, there goes his studhood as far as like pimping. Not that he isn't pimp, but he's pretty hot, so he's probably, you know what I'm saying? He's got it going on. But if by some weird chance that doesn't happen, then it'll be cremated and threw into the current river, right? And so I want there to be a like this big like 3-day party or whatever, get together in the summertime, and everybody's gonna come up and everybody's gonna do a shot of sake and eat a piece of sushi. They have to try something new. Well, they'll have a choice. There'll be like a choice of that, and then probably let's see. Yeah, I don't know if anybody could get the pizza would totally be ruined by then, but they can't get the rock pizza. My bad out of hell. That's my favorite pizza. Anyway, so anyway, everybody gets like fly swats, right? And so if anybody sees another person crying, then you whack them with the fly swat. Like for real, you're gonna get whacked. That's a rule. Just be like, So it'd be fun. But yeah. Anyway, so I haven't ignored you. Sorry I haven't made any, but it's been pretty busy, and of course I'm having a doctor's appointment on Saturday. That's how busy it is. And then of course Monday I got to meet with that gentleman again, and then go over more paperwork and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm gonna the videos are gonna be not so many right now, but I'm definitely gonna put them out there. And I love you, and I miss you, and hopefully I will find you before my birthday, before your birthday. Anyway, good night, son.